Hero X has arrived. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Toby Hero X, episode 12. And last episode, we started a new arc. We got the girlies in this. We got Queen. We got the now former Hero X, whose name otherwise I can't think of at the moment. But she had a giant fuck you axe, and I can dig that. As someone who really appreciates those kind of weapons. So the arc seemed to be centering around Queen kind of like working her way to the top with the goal of kind of breaking down the entire system with the trust value and whatnot. And during this, we see this other female hero rise to the ranks and win the tournament to be crowned Hero X, the top ranking hero in the world, I presume, or at least in this area. And we see that she had beaten this former X to do so, which makes sense. And she seemed to beat him kind of by pure strength, by power. And it's acknowledged throughout the episode that her being able to get the trust value and being able to like rise in the ranks was due to the influence of Queen, whose speech when she was graduating college at a young age as a teenager, because she's super fucking smart, it kind of like set forward this new era for female heroes. There had been like this like down view of female heroes because of like what these other heroes had done, and Queen kind of like got people to trust in female heroes again with her speech, and that's what allowed this other hero to become X eventually. It led to that, and she even admitted that. But she also acknowledged that her own hard work got her there too, which is entirely valid. Now, it eventually goes to the next tournament, and we see that Queen is waiting for this hero, the former X, to come out. But instead, the guy from the opening comes out, who I had found out in my hiatus from this series was Hero X. But now we get to see him becoming Hero X, so we actually get that reveal here. If I could have held out on that spoiler just a little bit longer. It's not that big a deal because it was obvious he had the X on his like tie and everything in the opening, so I'm not that worried about it. The opening kind of spoiled already. I just didn't notice. But he comes out and basically takes her out in the snap of a finger. He basically just completely destroys her, and nobody knows what happened. Nobody watching either. She doesn't know because she just wakes up a second later, like after the match starts, and is like on the ground and everything. No one in the audience or watching on TV could tell what happened. It was that quick, that sudden, and that like determinant. We don't know what his powers are. We don't know what he does. But whatever it is, it's really strong. And the thing is, he's like kind of an unknown in every regard. Like no one can even figure out who he is or where he came from. Where did his trust value come from in that case? That's another interesting factor to take into account. But yeah, it's like I mentioned last time how it's like, oh, this is like Queen's story kind of, but then this guy comes out of nowhere and takes over, and it feels like it's kind of playing off the idea of like a woman's spotlight being stolen from her. by a man. And I don't know if that's like entirely the intent, but knowing Lee Haoling, who is the creator of this, knowing his work with Link Click, I could honestly see it. Like, I honestly could believe that was his intent here. I'm not going to assume it was. I'm not him. I can't speak for that. But I could believe it. And so I'm kind of curious as to where this is going to go now. I don't know how many episodes this arc is going to be, but we're introducing so many massive plot points. We're introducing the title of Hero X. It's just like, this is kind of a turning point almost. We've had these previous arcs that give us these character stories, and this is kind of giving us one too. But the biggest thing with this so far is it's progressing the world's development. It's progressing the overall world building of the show in a way that really hadn't been done before. Like, we've had a little bit of world building each arc, but not like this. So I think we should just continue on and see what this episode has in store for us. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So we didn't get anything more with the mysterious new X in this episode. This mostly focused on Queen and Boa, and kind of like the entire aspect of Queen gaining these new friends who are helping her along her journey, while Boa is corrupted by her negative feelings in regards to losing her title and feeling that everything is being stolen by Queen, who hasn't worked as hard as her. Boa, I want to talk about first, because I was talking about this during the fight and everything, is such a tragic character to me, because you can absolutely see her point of view. She is someone who has worked her entire life to initially become an agent, but with always the goal and dream of being a hero. She always wanted to be number one, and she got shot for it. She put forth all this effort on her own. She never had anybody else working with her. And so when she becomes X, it's a big deal. She feels like she truly earned it. Like, she feels like it means something. And then, out of nowhere, Queen starts stealing the spotlight from her. And although Queen isn't the one who becomes X, she blames Queen's sudden meteoric rise to fame and popularity as the big problem. She sees Queen's sudden rise without really having to do as much, without having to train as hard, relying on other people, and her speech propelling her so far. Boa sees this as an insult. She sees it as someone usurping her without earning it. And again, this was her dream, so she feels like everything she ever wanted, everything that ever, made her feel special and important is being taken away from her. And I do feel bad for her in that regard. Because I get it. When you work so hard and put your everything into achieving something, and then it's taken away from you by someone who just didn't put forth that same amount of effort, it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck hard. And there's many occasions within real life and situations where that kind of thing unfortunately gets people very far. The biggest example that I can think of right now is AI art. Generative AI allows people to be able to generate art, I use with heavy quotes, without having to work for it, without having to practice or learn how to draw or anything. They're just able to take that shortcut. And to a real artist, it's an insult. It's fucked up. Because you're trying to claim credit for something that you didn't do. Also, your generative AI also steals from actual artists in order to create its algorithms and stuff. So it's also an insult on that level. And that's a case where it absolutely is one-sided. Where it's like the generative AI crowd is just wrong. They are just in the wrong. Generative AI is immoral and unethical. It is bad. There is no getting around that. It is not a matter of opinion. It is bad. It's bad for the environment. It's bad for art. And it's not a good thing. And generative AI has been like destroying so much in terms of, you know, these industries, from television and movies to video games. It's really fucking up a lot of these creative industries. Now, with this episode and Boa as a character, obviously not exactly comparable. Because Boa has a point. But Queen did work to get to that point. All her speech and everything, and her like graduating college, university even, at such a young age was due to her studies. Her rising in the ranks and gaining, you know, the trust value she has is because of the work she has put in. It's just a different kind of work, and it is a work that relies on others. That's the big difference between them here. Boa has done this all on her own. She has not relied on anybody. She has not had any friends. She was so dedicated, so focused on her dream that it's the singular thing she ever put forth effort into. And so when she sees someone else who's like doing other stuff, putting forth effort into relationships, and especially when one of those relationships is someone who, you know, has a luck-based power, that can seem very off to someone like Boa. And the nuance to this entire argument and situation makes this more of a tragic affair than anything. Boa losing herself to her fear, attacking Queen, trying to kill her because of this, is horrifically sad. Because, like, this literal force of evil that we have seen, like, multiple times now in this series, is literally corrupting her, using her worst fears and anxieties, using her biggest pains to influence her into, you know, basically becoming a villain. And it's fucked. Because if someone were just there for her, if someone could have just been, like, you know, a friend to her, she wouldn't have ended up in that situation. Like, that's what Boa needs more than anything. She needs a friend. She needs to understand, like, the kind of thing that Queen is coming from here. The kind of ideological, like, perspective. And that's tough. To grow up never having that kind of thing, to just have to suddenly, like, engage in it, would be difficult. But it's something she desperately needs. And I want the best for her. This is absolutely one of those occasions where I feel like extremely, extremely sad for who in this case became the villain. And I just want her to find happiness. I just want her to be able to improve her life and find another reason for living other than just being the best. I want her to make friends. I want her to connect with others and find the value in the very thing she was, deriding Queen for. I want the best possible outcome for her. And I think at least a part of it comes down to my own fears and inadequacies, my own anxieties. I'm I'm a very friendly person. I'm not like Boa in that regard. I'm not like Queen exactly either, because she's a little more reserved still. And I'm not on the level of our little friend there. He's a little he's a little more outgoing than I am. But I tend to be a very friendly person, or at least I try to be, to the point where it's like I try to connect with people, I try to be nice to people, and I want to make friends with people. But I too have a lot of fears and anxieties that a lot of times make keep me away from a lot of people, and have led to me being extremely timid and reserved. It's why I have a hard time communicating, even though I want to. Despite being an extrovert, I am also, like, incredibly shy. And so, while obviously not exactly the same, I've been in this situation where I've had to learn to open up. And it's not been easy. And there have been times I have lashed out at people, believe it or not. So someone as like passive as me lashing out seems kind of wild, but I have done it. And I've had to apologize for it on numerous occasions. Because I've said and done things I really didn't mean and hopefully would never mean. But I've also said and done things that were just, bad. And that I have to acknowledge were bad. So it's like, I'm not going to. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to like hide the fact that I've been on the wrong side of things. But I also know how important it is to change yourself. I've done a lot of that in my life. I've had to come around on a lot of things. I've had to learn to understand certain things. I've had to unlearn a lot that I was raised into believing growing up. And it's difficult. It's very difficult. And I still slip up. I still mess up and say things that are bad every now and again. I still use terminology that's, not good. That's like very culturally appropriating, or just in some cases steeped in like historical racism and stuff. And I'm trying to fix that. I'm trying to like fix my vocabulary so I don't use terms that have that bad initial meaning and stuff. Even if like that's not the way I'm using it, it's still steeped in that from the distant past. It's like stuff like saying spirit animal is not okay. And it's something I've had to learn, something I've had to struggle through, because it's something I've said like all the time growing up. But that is culturally appropriating native culture. And it's not okay. And so it's like, I really want the same to happen with Boa. I want her to be able to heal and to find her way into a better future for herself. To be able to recover from her anxieties and pains enough to be able to acknowledge them and in turn like start to work past them. And it's not going to be easy and everything, but it's something I really want to see for her. And I hope she and Queen can become friends. I really want that for them. I want to see them work together by the end of the series. I don't know if it's going to happen, but that's a big wish for me. And it's like this entire time, like watching this fight sequence and seeing like the phenomenal, like next level animation. It's like my mind, the entire time is trying to focus on the emotional aspect of this whole. And my thoughts on the characters and story. Because as much as I love the phenomenal animation, as like really pretty and entrancing as it is, like the idea of this fight even happening, the idea of Boa attacking Queen like this is so heartbreaking. And like her falling apart at the end after Queen tells her that she already dropped out of the top 10 and that she can't compete to be X again at the moment anyway. Just her falling apart at that moment, like it hurt. Like that was pain expressed in such a like really upsetting and really well handled way. Obviously, the voice actor did a phenomenal job, like, expressing these emotions. And the writing and pacing of it all, like, just really helped make you feel really bad for her. At least, again, me. Maybe it's just because I tend to, like, sympathize and empathize with characters more. And I have, like, I get like attached to characters super easily because of my autism. It's actually something that I've noticed more and more as the years have gone on. That like I get like really attached to fictional characters. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that as long as it's not taken to toxic levels. But it's definitely reaching a point here, and I'm seeing it here with this, where like my investment in these characters are affecting my emotional state to a notably heavy degree. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. Like, there's nothing wrong with getting emotional over fictional characters. I've cried so many times in shows because of characters I love and because of what's going on with them. And I know I will plenty more times. Whether it's an animated series, a movie, a game, something else. I'm going to cry, like, over and over and over again because I'm a big baby bitch like that. But it also, every time this kind of thing happens where I get, like, really attached to a character to the degree that I like, emotionally, like, caring about them like this. Every time that I notice this happens, Like, I really feel every emotion, like, at its peak. Like, I was on the verge of breaking into tears during this reaction. I was genuinely, like, really feeling upset over this entire situation. And this was during a fight scene. It was during a fight scene that this was affecting me that emotionally because of the context behind it. And that's insane to me. Because usually when I get emotional over characters, it's during an emotional scene. Think of like Nico Robin in One Piece during the I Want to Live moment. Like, yeah, that's an emotional scene. Or let's think of another great example. Oh, the fucking Nina Tucker shit from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Yeah, that horrifically emotional shit. It's like, that's obviously a very intense scene, but it's also an emotional scene by nature. But then you have this, and it's a really cool, badass action fight. And I'm on the verge of, breaking down because I'm so sad that it's happening. That's good writing. Like, that's the thing you have to realize here. If a show is written in a way that gets you that emotional, that sad during an action sequence, during a fight, that's impressive. And it's not the first time I've seen this happen. I've definitely gotten emotional during fights before. But this is, like, I think one of the more notable examples. It's so, like, aggressively sad. It's so depressing to me. And I just really got invested in it. And like I said, we still learn nothing more about the mysterious Hero X in this one. He's still a complete mystery. And this goes to, like, what, 2 years after he initially became Hero X? And it's just like, that's crazy that, like, the world even seems to still know nothing. But at this point, it's something else that's happening, because we see that Queen at the end, after the big fight with Boa, after she's recovered, like, not a year later necessarily, but by the time the next year comes around, she's sent on a vacation to finish recovering. And then there's, like, some kind of fucking dinosaur thing happening, and it's like, what? What is this? How does this connect to anything? What are we doing now? Is this Boa doing something again? Is this something completely unrelated that's going to just, like, move things along? Because I feel like we shouldn't just, like, move away from Boa at this point. Just because she kind of, like, broke down doesn't mean she's automatically going to be a good guy again. Doesn't mean she's automatically going to stop going after Queen. I mean, unless she was imprisoned or something, which I guess is possible. And if her trust value lowers enough, I guess she won't be able to do shit. I assume, like, even with the fear, I assume that her trust value she still has to have some, And I feel like attacking Queen like this is going to, like, nosedive that quite a bit. But we'll see if it continues to address this going forward. We'll see what this entire dinosaur dragon thing is about. And hopefully we get more with this arc that, like, continues to be as investing and intense and emotional as it has been. This just, like, really impressed me more than last episode. And last episode was really great as well. But this episode really impressed me on like a whole different level. And not just because of the animation. Again, it's because of the emotion, the depth, the nuance. That's the stuff that really got me in this episode. But we'll see how it continues to go. If there's anything that I didn't talk about that you specifically want to hear my thoughts on, please feel free to ask in the comments. I do see every comment. I will be able to react to you if necessary. But otherwise, let me know down below what you thought of this episode. And as always, no spoilers, please. I wish to remain as spoiler-free as possible continuing forward. So, all of that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.